Hello friends, welcome back to ProHut IT Services. Good to see you back. In this video, we'll learn the steps to create a new virtual machine on Azure. With this video, we'll be starting a new series, starting from the very scratch, that is creating a new virtual machine. And we're gonna cover the detailed topics around the different solution components, such as migrating the virtual machine, what all challenges that you can face. Uh, we're gonna talk about the Defender, Sentinel, Azure Front Door, Traffic Manager, Azure Purview, and many other solution components. So stay tuned. For this video, we'll see the steps to create a virtual machine. So for that, click on this option. So we'll go here and then click on all resources. As of now, we don't see any resources in this subscription, right? So let's create a virtual machine. For that, we'll again go to the menu and then select an option of virtual machine. One thing which you need to ensure is that we should have a valid subscription when we start creating any of the resources on Azure subscription, which we do have. We have a valid Azure subscription. And now we don't have any resource group. So very first thing what we need to do is that create a new resource group. We'll name it RG01. And the name of virtual machine, we're gonna say VM01. And we want this virtual machine to be created and in Australia East. As of now, we'll select no infrastructure redundancy required, and we'll go with the standard security. For the OS, we select Windows Server 2019 Data Center Edition. If you want any other OS to be deployed, you can scroll down and select the OS which you're looking to be deployed. If you don't see the OS in this list, then you can click on See All Images. That's where you will see all the OSs that are available. So as of now, just click on the Windows Server 2019 Data Center Edition. And then we need to select the t-shirt size. I mean to say the size of the virtual machine, which we need to deploy. So click on the drop down. From here, you can select the virtual machine, the size of the virtual machine. If you don't see the size which you wanted to use, then click on See All Sizes. Out here, you'll see multiple different sizes. On the basis of your requirement, you can select the size. So for this trial purpose, for this test purpose, we'll select a virtual machine with 2 vCPUs and 8 gig of RAM. So we'll select that. Now let's give the username, which is TU01, and we'll define the password. So for the password, I just wanted to give you the information that you need to ensure that the password must have one lowercase character, one uppercase character, one number, and one special character. The length of the password needs to be between 12 to 123 characters long, right? Okay. Now we do need to access this virtual machine over internet. So we need to enable the inbound port 3389, which is the port of RDP. If we also wanted to deploy Internet Information Services on this server and want to access IIS over the internet, then we need to also enable port 80 or port 443, but we're gonna keep it for the later labs. So as of now, we just want port 3389 to be enabled. If you have the licenses available for the Windows Server 2019 Data Center Edition that we have selected out here, then you can select this option. It's gonna help you in saving some of the costs, but we don't have the licenses available, so we will not be selecting this option. Then click on Next for the disk. So we are not adding any other data disk as of now. So we'll not be creating and attaching a data disk. So we'll just go with the OS disk, what we have. by default. Click on next and select for the networking option. Here we can see that there's a new virtual network which gets created, which is of IP range 10.0.0.0/16, and it will also be creating a subnet of range 10.0.0.0/24. So we'll go with the default. If in case you wanted to make the changes, you can define the subnet as per your requirement, and you can define multiple different subnets if you want that. But we're going to cover all these in the later videos. So I'll select this option. What this option is going to do, if we're going to delete this virtual machine, it will also delete the public IP address which it will be creating. So this is the option for the public IP address. Because we wanted to access this virtual machine over an internet, therefore we need to have a public IP address assigned to this virtual machine. If you don't want the public IP address to be created or assigned to your virtual machine, then you can click on this option and then select on none. It will not create and assign public IP address to your virtual machine. Okay, no other changes. Click on next and go to the management. Out here for this lab purpose, we'll not be making any other changes. If you want to enable the auto shutdown, you can select the auto shutdown and then you can select the time zone and select the time when you want this machine to shut down. It will also send the email notification 30 minutes before it will actually shut down the virtual machine. And if you want to extend the time of shutdown, you can extend. So for this lab purpose, we'll not be doing anything. We'll not be selecting any backup or the site recovery option. Click on next for the monitoring options. So if we want logs and alerts to be created and enabled, we can enable it from here. But for this option, we'll not be going for the boot diagnostic logs. We'll be disabling it. Click on next and advanced. No other changes are required. Click on tags. You can define the tags as per your requirement. So let me take example here. I'll say department is, let's say, sales, and who is the owner of this VM. I would say, let's say, Adam is. So that's how you can define the tags as per your requirement. Click on next, review and create. So now what is happening in the background is Azure is checking the option one, that you need to have a valid subscription, which we talked initially, that you need to have the valid subscription. And besides that, it's also checking the options that you have selected and the input that you have provided in all these multiple different tabs. So now we can see what is the estimated cost of deploying the virtual machine for 1 hour. So this is what it's gonna charge you for 1 hour. The best part of Azure is that they will charge you on pay-as-you-go model, which means that if you use this virtual machine only for 30 minutes, then they will only charge you for 30 minutes and not for the entire 1 hour. So that's the benefit of cloud or Azure. Now we are all set. So let's create this virtual machine. It will take a few minutes. So I'll pause the video and we'll be back once it is created. Welcome back. So now we can see that our deployment is completed successfully. And now we can click on go to resource. And that's where we can see the virtual machine created. This is the IP address which is assigned to our virtual machine. So now the next thing what we need to see is that what all resources gets created with this virtual machine. So for that, click on the menu and then go to the all resources. So now these are the resources which gets created along with this virtual machine. So forget about the first one, which is the network voucher. We're gonna talk in detail about this option. The very first thing which gets created is the virtual network. Virtual network is where this virtual machine is hosted. That's where we need to create the multiple different subnets. And within the subnets, we have a network interface. So here we can see that we have a virtual machine. We have the public IP address. that we have created so that we can access this virtual machine over the internet. We have the NSG, which is the network security group. If you recall, we enable the port 3389 so that we can access this virtual machine over the internet. We're going to talk about the network security group in detail in the future videos. Then we can see that we have a network interface, which is a NIC card for this virtual machine. And we do have an OS disk also, which gets created. For this video, we'll keep it short. And in next video, we'll see other options. Thanks everyone for your time. Have a great day.